And we have breaking news. New data shows U.S. employers added far fewer jobs in 2024 and early 2025 than previously thought. The estimate for jobs added from April of last year through March of this year was revised down by more than 900,000 jobs. White House correspondent Karen Travers is here with more on that. So, Karen, what does this say about the economy right now?
Yeah, Diane, it certainly indicates that it was much weaker in the jobs market last year and in that first quarter of this year than what we had previously thought. And there are going to be a lot of questions then about the data, of course, because we've seen this president and the administration question data that has come from the Labor Department. In fact, the president, as when he's fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, used that data from last year as a reason to fire that person. And now this revision, though, is so significant. Our business unit went and crunched the numbers on this and says this is the biggest revision downward that we've actually ever seen. So questions, too, about where they go from here. Does this mean that the Federal Reserve will almost certainly lower interest rates when it meets this month? That was what the expectation was after that lower than expected August jobs report. That is, of course, what the president has been pushing for. But I think this also indicates now that the overall job picture is much weaker than what had been expected and what we were thinking going into the election season last year and when President Trump took office, of course, in January.
Karen, most of the time span covered in this report was before President Trump took office, certainly before the bulk of the trade war started. So what does this report mean for him politically?
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll say when they do respond to this. We've asked the White House to comment on this revisions, and we have not gotten a statement yet, but I think they're going to certainly point to that this was only 2 months really, of when the president was in office, and that this is the Biden economy being weaker than what was thought originally and last year. But for the president, he is putting in place tariffs that have a lot of businesses concerned about hiring because of the uncertainty that the president's economic policies have resulted in over the last couple of months, concerns about what the extra cost will be for those businesses that are importing from the countries that have seen stiffer than expected tariffs. And as I mentioned, that August jobs report was a lot lower than what they were thinking it was going to be, and indicating that employers are a little cautious right now and the job market has cooled. So for the president's policies, there will be questions about that going forward. But Diane, I got to say, this administration has always forcefully defended the tariff policy and has not backed down off of that, and says that this is going to be a big thing that will eventually lead to a boom in manufacturing jobs here, another building up of the economy back here in the United States.
All right, Karen Travers, thank you.